With all the talk this week about WrestleMania, I wanted to reflect on Roman Reigns' historic 1,316-day title reign. And I want to talk just about Roman Reigns and how he figures into WWE. First of all, he's not done. Yes, he did drop the title to Cody Rhodes, which was the ultimate sort of end of his big reign and a perfect way to establish Cody as the guy. He is the man right now in the business. So, yes, obviously Cody has been given the torch and he's going to run with the ball. He's quarterback, as he would say, but that doesn't mean Roman Reigns is done. There's still the match with The Rock that's going to happen inevitably, as well as whatever else happens with the Bloodline. Now, I wanted to discuss what Roman Reigns has meant to this era. Obviously, Roman Reigns was a guy who was handpicked by Vince McMahon going all the way back to the early 2010s. He debuted with the Shield in 2012, and they already had his stars. The stars were aligning for him. Don't forget, and a lot of people forget this, Roman Reigns did not get pinned. Whenever the Shield lost, Roman Reigns was not the guy getting pinned. He didn't get pinned in any of the Shield matches they were having. I believe he got pinned once in like a 2 years or some crazy number like that. Like, they really protected him. And I remember that one episode of Raw where John Cena has him in the STF and Roman Reigns breaks it with his hands, like overpower Cena. And that was supposed to be the beginning of people saying, whoa. And I called it out to a bunch of my friends, like that's the subtle beginning of his push. But obviously Roman as a babyface just didn't work out. Suffering succotash, the big dog, So as he said on the A&E biography, he wanted to change up his character. And because the pandemic was going on, there were no fans, he thought it'd be a great idea to kind of switch things up. And he definitely changed the way pandemic wrestling was, because he was now talking trash to the camera, which was easier to hear in a room that had no fans. Even with the Thunderdome, it was still something that Roman intelligently did to, change the way the presentation was. And that was the beginning of like the Bloodline with his early feud with Jey Uso and then Jimmy being involved. What I like a lot about the Bloodline and what Roman Reigns has meant is, like it or not, the dude's a Hall of Fame performer. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He carried the company during a tough time into prosperity. Before Cody Rhodes arrived, before Triple H took over creative, he was still carrying the company. And we knew at WrestleMania 37 in Tampa, we knew that he was going to be the guy they had their sights on, because he ended WrestleMania as a heel, pinning Daniel Bryan and Edge. Just, stacking them and smashing them, if you remember. Now, the reason why Roman Reigns and the Bloodline thing was so successful, a lot of it was Paul Heyman's fingerprints. If you understand Paul Heyman booking and how his mind works, a lot of the Tribal Chief stuff was Paul Heyman working alongside the rest of the creative team members. Now, the thing about the Bloodline is, no matter what your opinion may be of Roman's title reign, yes, I do think he did cheat a few times to win the title. I mean, there's no question he had the Usos interfering on his behalf. He didn't win matches cleanly that often, but he's also a heel. And that's kind of part of the character, that he has the ability. He has all the natural gifts in the world, but the heat of getting his friends to help him was more important than him just flexing his own muscles. And if you really think about it, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. Had it not been for the Bloodline rule stipulation that was put into place on Saturday, Roman Reigns may not have lost the title on Sunday, because the interference was supposed to be there on his behalf, but Cody brought the Avengers. Jey Uso, Seth Rollins, John Cena, and of course, The Undertaker. And they were all there to help even the odds. Cody still won the match cleanly. And he had him beat at WrestleMania 39 anyways last year, so we knew the Three Crossroads was going to be the end. But it's almost poetic that Roman needed help, when had he just focused more on Cody, he would have won. Case in point, in that match, the final spot of the match, which I thought was brilliant, was Seth comes down with the gear of the Shield, and just like at the Royal Rumble 2022, Roman has like a flashback to what Seth did 10 years ago to break up the Shield and to destroy them, and Roman literally flashes back, and he had a chance to whack Cody in the head with a chair or in the back and spear him and win. Instead, he goes after Seth, giving Cody enough time to recover to eventually kick Roman out of the spear and finish the match. And that was beautiful storytelling, that Seth went in there purposely dressed like Shield era Seth, like how he looked in 2014 when he first whacked Roman with the chair. And that was great stuff. Long-term storytelling, tying all these loose threads back in. Now, you have to remember this about the Roman Reigns run. Think about what I'm about to say. Every single person that's been attached to the Bloodline story has been more over and more important because of it. Kevin Owens has never been this over. Sami Zayn certainly went from a jackass match to being featured in the main event of WrestleMania last year, night one, and main eventing in Montreal. So Sami Zayn is probably the one guy on the babyface side besides Cody that was really put over by the Bloodline angle. And you've also got the way that they worked around with Jey Uso. He would be the third guy who's super over now because of the Bloodline. Jimmy Uso and Solo are still henchmen, but they've gotten more eyeballs on them than they ever have before. You have to remember, the Usos have been in this company since the late 2000s. They're not rookies. And for a while, they were just two guys in a tag team. You know, that's what the Usos were. They were just another team. They had that epic feud with the New Day many years ago, and that was great, but it also felt like they were just going to be tag team guys and nothing more. Meanwhile, the Bloodline comes along and gives them both as individuals and as a team, more spotlight than anything. That was beautiful. Then we've got, of course, Cody Rhodes, who is now the guy because the torch was passed to him. We'll see how long he'll be the guy for. He's still a pretty young guy, so he'll have a nice run. At the end of the day, you can't deny that the Bloodline worked. And there's still more people out there. More Samoans, that is. There's still more stories they could tell with the rest of the Samoans. The Rock. You know, the Bloodline story fed into The Rock coming back. I think Rock would have come back anyways, but the Bloodline story gave The Rock an easy way to go heel and to kind of change his character as now being the final boss. The Rock version 15, as he's been saying in interviews. So you really got to give it up to Roman Reigns' incredible title run. And you really have to give it up to just everything, man. Everything, you know, that this dude has done. And remember, he's still got leukemia. It's in remission. He's taking medication to, you know, help him with that. But he's got that the rest of his life. And that's inspiring. The fact that this guy's going out there, you know, still at the top of his game. And yeah, he had a part-time schedule. I mean, you earn that, though. You can get mad at it if you want, but when you've been, he's not a rookie, dude. He's been with this company for a long time. Now he kind of earns vacations. I'm just keeping it real. Like, he put asses in seats, and the Bloodline story still continues even when he's not there. But every guy, even guys like AJ Styles, the guys in the War Games, all these dudes, because of the Bloodline, I'm talking about the War Games from 2 years ago. Because of the Bloodline, these guys were just made into bigger stars. And that's something you can say about the Four Horsemen. With the NWO, I don't think it really was like that for most of their guys. I would say there's a few that were. A lot of guys were duds, but guys like Scott Steiner really got over when he was in the NWO, and that led to his big singles push in 99-2000. But the Bloodline, everyone who's touched them, everyone on either side, That's what happened. And again, back to that finish at WrestleMania, Roman couldn't ignore his ego and his hatred for Seth that was boiling up inside of him. So he hits the wrong guy. He could have won. He could have retained the title in story. But he didn't. And ultimately, he was responsible for his own downfall. And I'm curious about, what we see out of Roman for the next few years. There's a lot of great stories that can be told. I think he'll eventually go to Hollywood, yes. Maybe. I mean, they've been saying that for a while. He may be the next one to go, but I don't know if it'll be anytime soon because there's still more work to be done. Anyways, what do you think about the Roman Reigns run? And tell me what your favorite Roman Reigns match was during the Bloodline era. Not before, not the Shield or, when he was the big dog, but what's your favorite match during the Bloodline era? Because the Sami Zayn one last year was phenomenal. Both Cody matches are up there for me. The Brock match at SummerSlam with the tractor was a lot of fun. Even that Cena match he had at SummerSlam that one year. There's so many. There's just so many. The Daniel Bryan match, on SmackDown, and even the one at WrestleMania with Edge. I love that three-way. I still love that three-way. What's your favorite? Let me know down below and tell me why. Take care.